Hi gamers, welcome to how to extend the set in Nuke. So, this is a completely unscripted, and it's like, don't look at the timestamp on this computer, but this is where you're going to want to get all of your stuff from. Compositors, you need to have a copy of the post-production compositing Nuke files and file structure in your desktop, because Nuke is very stupid and it can't find your stuff ever. We're going to try to minimize losing files in the EXRs all at once. Here are all of your finished EXRs, and here is all of your compositing tools here. This is Jess's master tree. Make sure you have the most updated one. She just updated it recently, and she'll be going over that with you. Here is matte paintings. Sorry. Here, final images. These will eventually have to be renamed because if you name them _1, _2, _3, it'll read them as image sequences, and we don't want that. In 01 set extension, there are still EXRs that you can use at your discretion for extra 3D mats and plates in your environment. Let's begin. This is what I am doing for shot 98.5. It's obviously not finished, but I digress. I have an example of a still plate and an example of a 2D matte plate that I just haven't color corrected yet. This is your lovely tree, and right here is where I have my character and environment pass. Skadoosh, there it is. Looks beautiful, but what I'm doing for the set extension is using the 3D camera viewpoint. This may or may not be needed necessarily for everyone's files, but I prefer doing it this way because it just makes sense to me personally. There is another way we can do this where I can make a completely new tree, and I can like run you guys through that one as well. But up in set beauty, I have a beauty pass of my pipes. They're glorious. Look at those babies go. And now I'm gonna position them in with my scene so that I eventually get them translated, scaled, and have C depth pass to where I want them to go in my scene. Because 98.5 is a still camera, I can basically do whatever I want with this one plate of pipes. For those of you with camera movement, it's going to be a little different, but it's not exactly a huge deal because this node accounts for it. So just a quick run through. This is your scene node. Hello. This is your scene node. I want to see it. Okay. This is your scene node. This lets you see your 3D scene that you've created in Nuke, all of your plates, everything. As you can see, the farther away the plates are, the farther away they appear in the camera space. This is a default camera in Nuke. It was just created because shot 90.5 is a still camera, okay? If you have a moving camera, you're going to want to use something called a Alembic cache for your cameras, and I can go over how to do that and find that data in Maya and then exporting it here. So again, this is your scene, lets you see everything. This is your camera, lets you see where things are in space. Scanline render translates all of this 3D data back into 2D data that you can see here. Voila. And these are your cards. Technically, these are all 4 giant cards here. So in the back layer, I have just a dark blue constant that I've placed on a card and I've just pushed to the back. Here is a matte painting. In order for the matte painting to show up properly, you have to use a pre-molt node on it to get the transparency correct and the alpha correct, thank God. Put that on a 3D card, push it back in space. Here is a still plate of pipes. No matter where I go, they do not move, which I have just done some teensy color corrections on and placed in the back. And here is the pipes that I made specifically for 98.5 and that camera angle, with their light groups, their depth pass, everything all functioned out. I'll do this at a later date. And this is placed all together in this first card. So, woohoo, come along with me. Let's do this. In order to get, let's say you want another card in here. Sorry, that's just not working right now. Let's say you want to get another card in here. Like, for example, I need another building. Excuse me? Don't press R over this viewport. Press R here. Let's read in something different. Let's do a 3D building here. Beautiful. Here's my lovely 3D building. It doesn't work for this shot. Throw a quick color correct on it if I want, but I don't want to yet. We're going to put it on a card, and we're going to attach that card with a small little caret, and there he goes. Now you've got an extra building plate in your scene. There he is. Yay! If you want more control over this, you can also put in something called a transform geo node. This gives you more control here. You can scale, you can translate, you can rotate, and you can see all of this in real time. It's nice. It lets you do the same thing with card as well. So there is a chance you can get double transforms. So let's say I want to go down here and make sure I'm positioning this new building in a way that I like. Let's go and place this new building plate in front of my first plate of pipes, but behind my second plate of pipes. So I've got this going for me. I'm gonna scooch it, and I'm gonna move the scale up to 2. And there you have it. And let's say I want to rotate it that way. Boom. Now I've got a big building in front of all of my pipes. If I go back to looking at a 2D space, there it is. Big building in front of all my pipes. I can do whatever I want with it. Let's make it start down here. Bam. Gorgeous. There you go. And you can add as many 2-dimensional nodes on this as you want. Let's say it doesn't look good, I want to color correct it. You can do that as well. Change the saturation, or up the saturation, I guess. I don't know. Contrast, and then like move the gain down so that it like blends into here. Ooh, yay, pretty. Okay. You can do so provided that you don't try to put the color correct after the 3D stuff. So up until the scanline render thing, anything that plugs into a scene has to be a 3D node. 3D nodes have rounded edges. Anything that has a square edge is a 2D node. So your reads are 2D nodes, your color correct is a 2D node, your ZD focus is a 2D node, and your merges are 2D nodes. Your cards, your transform geos, and your cameras are 3D nodes. The scanline render translates everything back into 2D data so that we can see it in 2D rather than 3D. There we go, I like that. It's not gonna stay, but whatever. And now we've got an additional building in with all of our pipes. And this is non-destructive editing. You can disable that if you'd like. You can disable this card if you like. You can disable these pipes if you like. You can do anything you want to this and just build your scene from there. So there you have it, folks. A beautiful way of moving things into your scene. The real question is, how do we get Z-depth working with all of this lovely, beautiful, fantastic stuff? Great question. Period, end of video. I'm kidding. Up here is an example of how to do Z-depth. Each set of pipes comes with a depth pass. And what we do to create Z-depth is we take a copy of our beauty pass and we plug it in to this first shuffle here. In the shuffle, you shuffle out your depth pass into RGBA, red, green, blue, and alpha. It gives you all this white noise data you don't really need. Add a grade to that. Why is it yellow? That's cool. Add a grade to that, and you get something like this. So now from your shuffle data, you can start seeing the black and white points of your pipes. The more black it is, the more it's going to be in the shot. The more white it is, the more it's not going to be in the shot. See if this actually fixes it. I think that did, actually. Perfect. Okay. I had this wrong the last time I did that, but the computer didn't actually record any of that last pass, so woohoo. There we go. Okay. So after that, sorry, let me refocus. Your grade node, the more black something is, the more opaque it's going to be. The more white something is, the more transparent it's going to be. Take this data once you're satisfied with how it looks and shuffle it into another shuffle node. Don't see much, but you're going to be trying to get the alpha for this. So the alpha for this is now going to, okay, so this was your grade here. If you press A, this is your grade's alpha, and this is your grade's actual data. Going back to the shuffle, this is what your shuffle looks like. You've now taken the grade data here and made it an alpha for this depth pass. Taking the crypto mat allows you to select only what you want to be affected by this alpha pass. And then using a merge out node specifically gives you a completely new alpha to incorporate your Z-depth into. So number one, this is what your new alpha looks like. This is what your new pipes look like. Usually you have a constant or something to make that change more apparent. After that, you go down to where your ZD focus node. This node is really heavy, so it usually does not get put in until the last possible second. Your ZD focus node is here. It takes the data from your depth pass here, which you have plugged into this tree. Your focal plane setup is like so, and you play until you find a point that you like. this specific pass is really, really faint, and that's okay. Every time I do Z-depth, I have to kind of struggle to figure out how to do it all over again. But there you have it, folks.